Hello boys and girls, and welcome back to another video. Hopefully everybody is doing well, and for today's video we are going to do another mailbag opening. I've got a couple of packages here I want to share with you guys, and as a topic that I would like to touch on is this dumpster fire that is going on currently that we are calling Captain Marvel movie. If you haven't already heard the news and you've been living under a rock, there's a lot going on with this movie and prior to its release date within a couple of weeks. So I'm gonna also touch on that subject. So stay tuned after the short video intro. Welcome back. Comic Sniper here once again, going over another video with a couple of more packages to unbox for you, another mail call. And as well, after we do this, because I'm going to do these first for those of you who just want to see what's in behind these boxes that I got, we're going to do that first, and then afterwards we're going to talk about the controversy and the news that is surrounding this upcoming Captain Marvel movie that's going to be out within a couple of weeks. So it's not even out yet, but there is a lot of talk surrounding it right now, and I thought I would add my 2 cents in the mix, and we will do that. But first, as promised, for those of you who are not interested in the discussion for Captain Marvel, let's go and open these bad boys first. Here we go. We got a couple of books on the first one. This is the first batch, and with the first batch I was able to get the all different X-Men number 110. This is basically the Uncanny X-Men, which for those of you who have followed my videos in the past, you'll know that I'm currently collecting, or in the process of collecting, the issues number 94 on up to roughly around 200-ish, and this is one of those issues that I currently don't have, that I want to add to my collection. This is just for personal. This is not anything speculation wise. Again, great John Byrne artwork, and then of course a story from Chris Claremont, fantastic writer. So really really glad to have this. Not, oh, that's gonna fall. Okay, not super high grade, but definitely in very good shape. I don't see a lot of marks. There is some light staining, as you can see. Maybe that'll come out. We will see. But aside from that, very nice copy. All right, and then the second book that I got in that same batch is another X-Men that I don't currently have. It's number 103 with a Juggernaut on the cover. This is another book that I don't have in my run, so I'm really glad to have this, to put this in my collection as well. So hopefully when I get a full run of 94 through whatever number, I'm probably going to end up doing a video just to showcase what I currently have, and then we'll go over maybe what's missing. But definitely, I don't go out of my way to cherry pick which one I'm trying to get. I just kind of, if I see anything that's coming online cheap, definitely I will check it out. And if I don't have it currently in my in my possession, then if it's a good enough price, then I will pick it up. But definitely, that's the two books that I got right now. So with one more package left to go. This one has a nice fragile sticker on it, really good shape. We're going to open that up next. For the second batch, we have only one book that I was able to get from that one, and this one is, of course, this is the Avengers King Size Annual number 10, and the significance for those of you who are not in the know is this is the first appearance of Rogue. Probably one of the messiest, in my opinion, cover. This is way far from my favorite cover. It's just way too messy. Look how small the characters are down here. There's just way too much going on here, too many panels for a cover, and it looks like it's just taken off of the inside pages and kind of put it in the front. To me it's lazy artwork, so that's why it's probably one of my least favorite covers of all time. It annoys me every time I see it, actually. But of course this is significant because of Rogue, and this one here, as you can see, we've got a couple of color breaking text right there, so it's not super high grade, but it is there is no huge flaws in it. We've got a couple of more creases down here, so it's in a solid mid grade. And of course I was able to get that for a pretty good deal, that's why I picked it up. And with the Fox, of course the deal with Disney coming online in the near future, Rogue is probably going to be a character, and I'm betting on the fact that she's probably going to be a character that will be very prominent in the MCU in the near future. So, you know, I'm counting on her to for this, especially this copy of her first appearance. This is what I would call an underdog, an undervalued issue. So that's why I've got, this is not my first issue. So, but I will add, I will pick these up whenever I see them in good price. That's what I got so far. All right, so that's what I got for you today. So let's talk about the upcoming Captain Marvel movie. If you're paying attention to any social media, and of course YouTube, Instagram, that kind of stuff, with any news on the internet, you'll know that there is a lot of controversy surrounding the new Captain Marvel movie right now. It's not out yet. It's still a couple of weeks out upon the making of this video, within a couple of weeks. But what has happened is, now for myself personally, I know there are some people out there in the community. I typically don't like to get into too much politics as far as when it comes to the comic book community, but we can't deny the fact that the politics are coming to us. Okay, with you can see that from Star Wars, The Last Jedi, of course, Solo, what happened with Solo. The fandom really actually started speaking back, and they want to get the politics out, the feminist agenda, whatever agenda it is. With Star Wars, it's more of a feminist agenda, and that's what's actually affecting Captain Marvel right now. And that also happened with Ghostbusters too. So now I don't try to go out of my way to participate in it, but I can't deny it because it just creeps into everything, and it's doing it now, and it's doing it even more so. With the fact that Brie Larson, on her press tour and her interviews, if you've seen any of them, she has gone out of her way to alienate basically majority of her fan base, which is the straight white male. I was actually, to tell you the truth, I was very excited about this movie until certain things started happening. Things like the trailer, the first couple of trailers that I saw was very disappointing, but I was still very hopeful. Of course, when Infinity War came out and she was in the end credit, her insignia was in the end credit, that was very revealing. And then, of course, Kevin Feige, the Russo brothers, how they talked about the new generation, the new phase of Marvel, the MCU, is going to be centered around that. And if they're going to be, talking politics and virtue signaling, that is not something we want in our comic book movies, in our lives. And we can see that now even in our comic books, the new comic books. They keep trying to infiltrate their agenda, their feminist and politically correct agenda into them, and we really don't need that. We just want some good stories. We want some good characters, regardless if they're male or female, whatever. We don't really need to have the agenda be thrown right in our face, is what we're saying, right? I think what a lot of and I understand what a lot of people are saying when they come to that. We don't want it in our face. Now, let it happen organically, is what we're saying. You know, things like write stories in that will include people and genders and all that kind of stuff in it, but don't do it for the sake of. Don't do it to target specifically for that, is what we're saying. So anyways, let's go back to Captain Marvel movie. Basically the dumpster fire that's happening around this movie now, especially with Brie Larson, is the fact that when she ran off in her mouth about this, it started turning off a lot of people. Not just for the fact of the trailers were not good. The subsequent trailers got better. Of course, the latest ones looks a little bit better, definitely. But the damage has kind of already been done, and people have already started revolting against it, saying that they're not going to see it. And how they were managing to do that was through Rotten Tomatoes. If you had looked before, people could vote whether they wanted to see it or not. It wasn't a review, as a lot of people were saying. They were trolling the reviews, and that's what they were calling it. But unfortunately, what the fact is, reviews can't be made until you see the movie. All you're doing is stating you want to see it or did not want to see it, and then you can leave a comment based on a poll. It's basically a poll, not a review. A review is something you put out, your opinion of something you saw after the fact, right? So if I saw the movie, then I can write a review of the movie. So, but if you're asking me if I want to see it or not, that's a poll, and then of course I can give my reason why I don't want to see the movie or why I want to see the movie. So based on the poll that was happening, of course, things like elections have polls, movies and other things have polls in it, so that they can gauge the popularity of the upcoming event, whatever that may be. So with this movie, the initial poll for it was high. Of course, it was a highly anticipated Marvel movie. As usual, very high in anticipation. It was in the 90s, I believe. But within Brie Larson's statement, it started to drop. Now, I don't usually pay attention to the polls so much, but it started coming up more in my feeds and the social media that I watch and pay attention to the point where I started actually getting intrigued of what's happening with this thing and why it was happening. And so I started kind of watching some of this and trying to understand, trying to make up my own opinion. I don't usually like to see too many reviews. I don't like to watch too many trailers before the upcoming movie. I don't want to be swayed either way, but I had to kind of dig into this because it wasn't about trying to get my, trying to watch something so that I know what's going on in the movie, rather than what was going on around the movie, is what I'm trying to say. And what I saw was not to my liking. Virtue signaling, political correctness, agendas shoved down my throat is basically what I saw. And having to claw back, even with her trying to say that, trying to claw back some of the stuff that she said, it wasn't enough. And it really wasn't much of an apology in my mind. So the poll started going down, and I started seeing it around the above 50% mark, and I thought, okay, I don't usually pay attention to Rotten Tomatoes, especially before a movie. I might see the numbers just to gauge how the movie's doing, how much money it's making, that kind of stuff, and I will pay attention to Rotten Tomatoes afterwards, see some of the discussion around the movie, right, after I've seen it, so I don't get swayed by it. But since I started looking into it before, and I looked at the poll, it went from basically over 50% to within weeks of now dropping all the way down in the 30s, and I couldn't believe what I was seeing. When it got down below 50, no Marvel movie, as far as I know, from what I've heard and what I've seen, drops below 50. And when that came about, I was, you know, dumbfounded. I was so shocked. And then it just kept going, 40s, 30s, and within days from making this video, it went all the way down to 27 to 26%. And we still had a couple of weeks left to go. Now, you would think that that was bad enough, okay? There is more to this story. Okay, what has happened since then is Rotten Tomatoes, in their infinite wisdom, or stupidity is more like it, has now taken down the polling for this and for everything. They've made a statement saying this is what they were planning on doing, but the timing of what they did, let's make no mistake, they know what they're doing, and they're out to hurt themselves, because they're not owned by Marvel, but Marvel has flexed its muscles to the point where, you know, they're trying to douse the fire on this, and what they've done, instead of dousing it with water, is basically doused it with gasoline, and now it's exploded even more so, because now the poll is gone, the readers' reviews are gone. They're calling it, you know, they're blaming trolling, review trolling, and then you can't do review trolling when there's no reviews. It's people's opinion of what, you know, it's basically what, if they want to see it or not. And the overwhelming review, now you got me saying it, the overwhelming poll is people do not want to see this movie based on the Brie Larson. There's of course the factors that I've already said, the trailers, the Brie Larson statements, the retractions, all this kind of stuff, the politics, everything being shoved down people's throat. That's why they stop wanting to see it. And to tell you the truth, I was also, you know, I will see the movie as well, but I'm not wanting to add my my money to have this thing, you know, be successful. Now, I don't want Marvel to be unsuccessful. I love Marvel movies. I love all DC movies. I love superhero movies in general. But I'm also not a person to just follow. Okay, when there's something not right about the, you know, what's happening in our industry, and something that we love, because this is all going to change. Okay, the quality of the movies that we're going to see, that is going to be greatly affected if we don't speak up, if we don't vote with our dollars. Okay, if you don't like the arts that is coming out, then don't buy the book. If you don't like the stories, you can vote with your dollars. Okay, if they can't sell it, they won't make it. That's the rule of thumb. That's why free market is so great. Okay, we have our voice with our dollars. So that's why, if I don't like, it's not the fact that I don't like Captain Marvel, it's not the fact that I don't like Brie Larson, for that matter, or Marvel. It's the fact that I don't like how they're making this you know, a feminist agenda to be shoved down you know, in our faces. And that's what I don't like about it. And if they keep doing that, it ruined Star Wars, it ruined Ghostbusters, and you think they don't care about us or the movie watchers or comic book collectors or readers, and they've already said it right to our faces. This is not for us, right? Which is kind of ironic, and I'll get to that in a second. And if they're doing that, and the quality of the movies are going to start going down, I guarantee it. That's what's going to end up happening. I'm not saying that's happening with Captain Marvel. It's probably going to be a good movie. It's probably going to do well in theaters, in my opinion. They're just not going to. They're going to do it without my dollars, is what I'm saying. And I'm not advocating for anybody to follow what I'm saying. Okay, please do not make up your own mind. That's why I had to do my own research and watch, you know, the stuff that happened, and do more of it. Actually, I'm only putting this out now because of you know, this just happened within days. So and before I made up my mind, and it's still weeks, like I said, it's still within a couple of weeks of the movie coming out. So guys, you know, do your own research, find out for yourself what's going on. This is just my take on, my interpretation of what's happening. I don't advocate anything for anybody to do anything, but if you're like me, and I don't like people getting into my comic book business, I've been around this hobby for a very long time, and this is the first time things like this has been happening within the movies and the comic books together. And if that's the case, I don't agree with how it's what they're doing for us, or they're not really doing it for us. So my voice and my dollars are speaking in the way I do or don't see, or put down my money to go see this movie. So that's what I'm doing. So you do your own thing, okay, guys. Definitely, you don't have to do anything because I said so, and I wouldn't want anybody to do that as well. But with regards to what Brie Larson has said is, now I might be taking her quote, misquoting her, but she said something like, her movie The Wrinkle in Time, it wasn't made for 40-year-old white dudes, and that's how, and the way she says that, it's really condescending, and it's really inflammatory in my opinion. And she said that like 3 times. Okay, and then in a subsequent interview, she kind of backtracked, her trying to backtrack some of that statement, saying that she doesn't hate white dudes. But if her movie, A Wrinkle in Time, wasn't made for us, therefore shouldn't be reviewed, or isn't made for 40-year-old white dudes, and shouldn't be reviewed by that. Well, who is Captain Marvel made for? Okay, comic books and comic book heroes and heroines were typically, okay, it wasn't marketed strictly for them, but the genre and the fan set, the fan people that are predominantly catered to this industry is male. Okay, whether they be white or any other color for that matter. That to me, that doesn't really matter. But it is mostly males. Okay, that is, so therefore, if you're not wanting Captain Marvel to be reviewed and to be voiced by males in general, okay, I'm just gonna say males because I don't, like I said, I'm not white, for instance, so I'm not gonna, but I will kind of lump myself along with that because I am a male, and I love comic book and comic book characters. So if this is not for us, why did you make this? Okay, if we're not supposed to be having an opinion on this movie, then you shouldn't have made a comic book movie, because comic books and comic book movies are predominantly male, audience. So therefore, you are going to have to take a male's perspective on this, because we are the ones who are majority audience. Okay, now you guys, you might not agree with that, and that's okay. I'm just voicing my opinion on this, and therefore Brie Larson, I think, has done a terrible job campaigning to for this movie. And it isn't just her. Let me make that absolutely clear. She is but a piece of this puzzle. Marvel and the MCU and Disney is also a huge part, because she's not going to go on this press tour. She's not going to say all this stuff without Kevin Feige and Bob Iger, and without their approval. Okay, this movie wouldn't have been made, and you can see by the trailer with her, how they portray everything, how it's made. You can, just from the trailer alone, you can tell that this is a feminist agenda, and they are definitely going down this road. Okay, they are okaying it. Make no mistake, this is not an accident. This wasn't just Brie Larson's idea and how she's portrayed it that way in her press tour. That is not the case. It is her, Brie Larson, along with Marvel, along with Disney, along with the MCU. They are the ones with all of the powers that be, because look what happened with Star Wars, right? And Solo, and that agenda is definitely coming down the pike with with the big guns in tow, and they have flexed their muscles to the point that they have now gotten Rotten Tomatoes involved, and Rotten Tomatoes has done the worst thing and tried to silence the public, and basically have thrown themselves in the pit along with them, and they are, in my opinion, they are headed down like a path that is not going to be any good for them and their business model. Because really, I have no wish to go visit Rotten Tomato. I actually haven't before, but now even less so, because they're trying to silence people's voices, and to me that is not good in any way, shape, or form. Okay, so therefore, we need to, before the MCU, before Disney ruins the comic book genre, we need to speak out so that we can, at least for me, I need to speak out to have my disapproval put out there within my dollars and some, my movies, that I don't approve of the direction they're going. So if the next phase of the MCU is headed down these virtue signaling path in politics, I really don't want to be a part of it, and I will just stick to my comic books and comic book collecting and leave it at that. But and that would be very sad, because I think they've done a great job so far. The last 10-11 years have been great, and I'm very, very worried. I'm not so worried about this Captain Marvel movie. Like I said, I probably think it's going to do well. There's enough people, and I really wanted to see it at first too, and I was very excited. To tell you the truth, I was very excited about it. Captain Marvel is not like number one on, she's not one of my top 10 comic book heroine, but she is, she's been around for a very long time, and she can definitely be a good character to have. I just don't think that. And the other thing that they're saying is they're making her out to be, they're creating her as the most powerful being in the MCU, which is, wow, talk about Mary Sue. Wow. So if that's the case, and when she's even more powerful than Thanos, it is, and I didn't think this could happen. I am so worried about the upcoming Endgame, the Avengers Endgame, because if they're gonna do that, and they created such a masterpiece with Avengers Infinity War, that I am actually worried for the Endgame. How they're gonna, because of course we know that Captain Marvel is gonna be in it, and if she's the one to rescue to defeat Thanos, where all of the Marvel universe so far has not been able to defeat Thanos, that means she's gonna be more powerful than all of them combined, and it's basically throwing in my mind, that's going to be a kind of a disrespect to all what's come before her. I hope that's not the case. I really don't. I really do, and I'm very, very scared of what might happen, because if they do go down that path, then I will be so disappointed in all of that. Okay, I just hope they don't. But until it happens, again, that's just my fear. Okay, but we will see. Time will tell. We'll see where it goes. Hopefully, the cooler heads prevail, and that we do the right thing, and hopefully things will right itself and do a good. So I've still got my fingers crossed. Hopefully things will work out for the better. Sorry for this long drawn out thing, but again, guys, see for yourself. Check out all the articles that are going on. Watch the clips of the movies and sorry, the clips of the interviews and things like that, as well as the trailers. You tell me what you think. Okay. find out for yourself and make up your own mind on how you want to, you know, if it's okay for you, great. If it's not, then do something about it. Okay, so again, thank you very much for joining me again. I got a couple of X-Men and as well as the Avengers here for my opening. And if you haven't done so yet and you're just new to my channel, please hit that subscribe button. Make sure you hit that like button as well, and notification bell, so you'll be notified of my future videos. And of course, be part of the discussion, guys. Want to hear your thoughts about it. We're still, like I said, over a week away from the Captain Marvel movie coming out. Tell me if you're gonna go see it, what your thoughts about this whole thing is. I'm calling it a dumpster fire. It's not good. Hopefully Disney is shaking a little bit in their boots, trying to do damage control, but we will see. And then of course, you know, give me your take. If some of the stuff that I've talked about is not accurate, let me know as well. I'm not perfect, and I don't have all of the fancy stuff to cut to all the interviews and things like that, but but I'm just me talking and you guys listening. But I do want to hear what you have to say on this topic, and let me know where it goes. And then until then, okay, I will see you guys on the next video. Bye bye for now.